What is going on, YouTube family? It is Sierra Nicole here. And man, I know it's been a while. It's been like 5 months since I've posted on this channel. And I have some other videos planned that's going to kind of take you through like what I've been doing, why I took such a long hiatus, what I have going on now. However, today I want to focus on something pretty specific. And hopefully that this was helpful for you because I recently started making content around one of my favorite hobbies, which you can see here behind me, are my books. So I read nonfiction books, which I'll talk about some of my like business and marketing books on this channel. But I really wanted to have more of like a creative outlet for myself. And so I really started getting back into reading fiction books like over a year ago. And I recently just started a brand called Bookfluenced, where I'm doing like book reviews and talking about the nonfiction books, the romance and fantasy and thrillers that I'm reading. And I started this brand on TikTok, Instagram. However, on my TikTok page for Bookfluenced, I have seen exponential growth very quickly. So I started that TikTok page back in February. So just like 3, 4 months ago. And this week I just hit 20,000 followers. And this is significant to me because 3 weeks ago I hit 10,000 followers and I finally got monetized. And then, 3 weeks later, less than a month, I doubled the amount of followers that I have on that page. And so I wanted to talk about some things that I've noticed as far as like growing a brand new organic page from 0 followers in today's world, because there's a ton of videos out there, but a lot of them are from years ago. And so I want to talk about some of the tactics and the tips and the things that I did to grow this page completely organically with no paid ads or anything, with just content of me talking about books and me being myself. And so the first point I want to dive into is that authenticity wins every single time. Okay. You being yourself wins every time. So I have a very kind of like chill personality. I'm pretty introverted naturally. And so I lean into that on my content, like I know some people on TikTok, get millions of views being very outgoing and very unhinged, right? But you don't have to do that in order to be successful on the platform. All right. You can be yourself, whatever that looks like for you. All right. So me, I'm just talking normally, just like I'm doing here in these videos. I show my personality and that has worked. The next thing I want to talk about is just making sure that you're testing, making sure that you're not committing yourself to one specific type of content on day one. Creating video or even written content, but creating content is similar to making spaghetti. All right. When you cook the noodles and you throw the noodle against the wall to see if it's ready or not. If it sticks, it's ready. If it doesn't stick, then it needs to cool a bit longer. That's the same thing with creating content. You need to throw the spaghetti at the wall. You need to test out all different types of content styles and see what works. See what gets the most traction. See what gets engagement. See what type of content you actually enjoy creating, right? You don't want to get pigeonholed into, one type of content and then you feel like you can't get out of that. Also, a lot of times the type of videos that we think will flop are the ones that actually do well. And a lot of times the videos that we plan out very strategically, the ones that we spend a lot of time like creating and editing and doing all this fancy stuff, usually those are the ones that end up flopping. Be okay with testing things. Some things are going to flop and you just have to be okay with that. And then some things are going to do very well unexpectedly. So test. And that's really for every platform. The next point I want to touch on was just making sure that you're adding value. It doesn't matter if you're talking about books or talking about food or if you're talking about business, whatever it is that you want to make content about, decenter yourself, even as a personal brand. Decenter yourself and put your audience at the forefront. Make this video with the mindset of what can my audience get out of this, right? Make sure that they are at the center of all your content, because then that's going to make them wanting to keep coming back for more if they are able to actually get something out of watching you, right? There's a million influencers, content creators online that they can consume. Give them a reason to continuously come back for you and you only, okay? So adding value, no matter what it is that you're talking about, all right? Next, I want to talk about focusing on the things that you are good at. You are more likely to get great at the things that you're good at than you are to get good at the things that you're terrible at. So focus on your strengths, period. If you're good at talking and good at storytelling, create that type of content. If you're good at writing, create that type of content. If you're someone who is like just naturally really aesthetic, you love, organizing, putting things together, like you love that, lean into that. Okay, don't try to force yourself into a box because you see other people making content that way. Lean into what you are good at. The great thing about building a brand, a personal brand, is that the only truly unique factor about your brand versus someone else is you, right? So focus on what you're good at and lean into that. That's what's going to make you unique in whatever field that you're in or whatever niche that you're trying to be in, which I kind of hate that word, because there is really no niche. Like, you are the niche. You should be the niche as the person, but lean into the things that you enjoy. If you enjoy creating a certain type of content, do that. Okay, don't try to force yourself to be extremely uncomfortable. And yes, uncomfortability is a big piece of trying to be successful in anything. However, there comes to a point where you're so uncomfortable that you just don't do anything. I would rather you create something that you enjoy doing and you're good at, and you actually are consistent at that. That's going to win every single time versus you trying to go too much outside of your skill set and you end up just not doing it at all, or you do it a few times and you drop off, right? So those are some things that really helped me as far as building this brand new TikTok page for my Bookfluence page. I do a ton of videos. Some of them, actually majority of them, are like faceless content where I'm just talking with my books. Sometimes it's actually me like this, like on my Bookfluence YouTube channel, I'm actually doing videos like this. So you can do a combination of those. And here's a fun fact. The reason why I started doing the videos with just me showing the book and me talking over it is because I didn't feel like doing my hair and makeup every day. I just wanted to talk about my books and that's it. So again, I leaned into what was comfortable for me and it worked. So do what is comfortable for you, all right? And this can apply to really any type of content that you're creating. I really just want to use my Bookfluence page as an example because that's just a page that I recently grew. I am now working on growing that Instagram and the YouTube for that brand, but that has what's been working for me. I don't post every day. Sometimes it'll be a week between my posts. Sometimes it'll be a few days. Some days I'll do 2 posts. Like, it's very kind of sporadic. It's mostly just when I feel like creating. And so that's one thing that is different. When I first started my Sarah Nicole brand, I used to post every single day, no matter what. Now I mostly am just focusing on posting when I feel led to create. And to me, that has been the best content. As long as you're doing it consistently, okay, as long as you're at least doing like a few posts, weekly or whenever, at least as long as you're showing up, but showing up when you want and how you want, like, you're absolutely going to win. Don't feel pressured to post 10 times a day just because someone else did that and was successful. There's a lot of people who post once a week and they were still just as successful, right? You just have to find a good rhythm and a good just structure for your own content creation process. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have questions, just leave them down below in the comment section. Like I said before, I have a ton of videos that I plan on putting out about different topics, doing summaries of different nonfiction books that I think will be helpful for you, as well as just talking about my process of completely rebuilding my business. And so I'm going to be talking about that on my channel. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But again, this is Sierra Nicole, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.